Hello viewers and welcome to another match of Warhammer 40,000 Conquest. My name is Mitch and I am the Hive Tyrant. Today, it's another video from friend of the channel John Gobeil. On the right, we've got a fellow named Brett Gosling, and for today's game, he's opting to play as Aun'shi, our second to be released Tau faction warlord. On the left, we've got Kevin Guertin, whom instead is playing as Zarathur High Sorcerer. He begins the game holding our initiative token, and it looks as though planet number 1, currently under contest, is going to be Taurus. If you win a battle at that planet, and only if you control fewer units than does your opponent, then and only then are you rewarded in the form of either accruing 3 resources or adding the top 3 cards of your deck to your hand. Looks like our opening deploy action is going to be a copy of the unique 2-cost attachment Slaanesha's Temptation affixed by Zarathur to planet number 4, and that means that each and every unit our Aun'shi player puts out to any planet apart from number 4 is going to have its cost increased by 1. Zarathur throws out a copy of the 0-cost Chaos faction event, Promise of Glory, that generates 2 cultist trait cultist tokens for him. No command icons, but 1 attack, 1 hit point, and their conventional effect is being sacrificed upon attempting to deploy a demon in order to decrease the cost of that demon by 1 per cultist token that you sacrifice. Aun'shi has picked up a copy of his very powerful signature attachment, the Honor Blade. That means wherever Aun'shi, himself a 2/7 warlord, goes, each and every Tau faction unit is not only going to be attacking with Armor Bane, but each other Tau unit is also going to be doing so with an additional +1 attack value bonus. At planet number 1, for the modified cost of 3, we've got our first Tau combat unit. It's going to be the Borkon Recruits, one of those warlord friends with a command icon, 2 attack, 2 hit points, the soldier trait, and perhaps most importantly of all, it's going to be able to attack for a +2 value bonus, provided that a warlord is sitting at that same planet. So if Aun'shi were to arrive to planet number 1, that Borkon Recruits will potentially be swinging for 5 Armor Bane. At planet number 3, we've got a copy of one of Aun'shi's signature army units. It's going to be the 1-cost Ethereal Envoy, fantastic stats for the price, 1 command icon, 1 attack, 3 hit points, but as with each and every Ethereal, it's got a forced reaction where upon resolving an attack, it's basically moved back to your HQ, and it looks like at planet number 4, we've got a copy of the Earthcast Technician, so rather similar statistically to the Ethereal Envoy. It's going to be a 1-cost, 1 command icon, 1 attack, 1 hit point unit, which, upon being played, allows you to scry the top 6 cards of your deck and add 1 drone or attachment card you find to your hand. Looks like we found a copy of Recon Drones, so it's a limited keyword card, no cost, 2 command icons, 0 attack, 1 hit point, but a great little economy unit indeed. Looks like at planet number 1, Zarathur has spent his 2 cultist tokens to put into play a copy of Rotten Plague Bearers, 2 cost, 1 command, no attack, 2 hit points, a Nurgle Demon, and as an action you can exhaust it in order to deal a single point of damage to an enemy unit extant at that planet. Zarathur throws out another copy of Promise of Glory for 2 additional cultist tokens, and I can only imagine that he's going to be spending those shortly because cultist tokens in your HQ really ramp up your unit count, and that isn't exactly ideal when planet number 1 is going to be Taurus. But planet number 5 is going to be a copy of the ubiquitous Chaos Fanatics, 2 cost, 2 command icon, 1 attack, 2 hit points, and the cultist trait for a little bit of synergy there that's presumably still developing within the Chaos faction. And now let's kind of look at our opposite side of the table. Aun'shi doesn't have any Xemian orbital cities as of yet. That's a monumentally powerful Aun'shi specific support, where it's 2 cost, but upon an Ethereal sitting there in your HQ, you can move it to a target planet and you can ready it, so you can potentially elicit multiple battles, you can trigger multiple battle abilities, and it's definitely a big game changer for Aun'shi. Looks like that must be a bit of a deploy stall at planet number 3. It's interesting that we see promotion instead of recon drones. I can only imagine that that's because Aun'shi is trying to keep his unit count lower so he can attempt to trigger Taurus. So an Ethereal Envoy there there, whether it's got one command icon, whether it's got three, it's going to be able to win a command struggle just as easily. And it looks like Zarathur throws out one of my personal favorite units in the game. It's going to be a copy of Zarathur's Flamers, but where exactly is it going to end up? That's a 2-cost, 1 command icon, 2 attack, 2 hit point Tzeentch demon, and as an action, you can sacrifice it in order to deal 2 points of damage to, if memory serves, a target non-warlord unit. But it's not as if we've got to worry about synapse units or tokens when it comes to Aun'shi. Just as long as you don't direct that effect toward the enemy warlord, you're well within the rules to do so. So note at planet number 1, planet number 3, between those two effects, that's going to be a drain of 2, elicited by Slaaneash's Temptation. The only way to remove that attachment is going to be to trigger a battle at that planet, so therefore Aun'shi is going to be incentivized to show up at planet number 4, but it's kind of an undesirable battle ability. Normally Tau don't run a lot of really high-cost units, at least Aun'shi does not, and Chaos definitely can, so that's probably going to be a poor life choice to trigger that ability, battle ability, and therefore it's just a really shitty destination for Aun'shi to want to arrive to. And at planet number 1, what's really looking pretty good for Zarathur is he's got 2 units at that planet. He's got initiative, so he could attack with the Flamer, he could use the action of the Rotten Plague Bears to deal a point of damage to the Borkon recruits, and if a Warlord doesn't show up, they're only going to be able to attack for 2, as opposed to 5 Armor Bane if it were Aun'shi. But Zarathur arrives at planet number 2, that's Aatrox Prime, that planetary bombardment location, and planet number 4 looks like Aun'shi is indeed going to go after that copy of Slaaneash's Temptation by triggering a battle at Yvvarn. So planet number 1 is going to be a card and a resource for Zarathur. Planet number 2 is the same. Planet number 3 is going to be a couple of cards to the right there for Aun'shi. Planet number 4 is going to be a resource for Aun'shi, and planet number 5 is going to be a couple of resources for Zarathur. So we're going to see battles at planets 1, 2, and 4, and the battle abilities on the line are going to be Aatrox Prime and Yvvarn. So, looks like our opening combat turn is going to be Zarathur's Flamers swinging for an unmodified 2 at the Borkon recruits, and Zarathur's got a whole host of different options available to him at the moment. Zarathur's got 4 units, Aun'shi's got 4 units. If the Borkon recruits dies, that is going to result in Taurus not being able to be activated. The Borkon recruits are killed, Taurus is captured, so that's +1 material, +1 strong point icon into Zarathur's victory display, and I was just going to say, if we'd have seen a shield preserve the Borkon recruits, that would have been the Rotten Plague Bears could have finished it off with a point of damage, we could have seen Tzeentch's Firestorm finish it off, we could have seen any number of other effects. So Zarathur is going to be able to trigger the effect of Aatrox Prime. The only reasonable target is going to be Boundless to deal a point of damage to that Ethereal Envoy. Not that that really does much, but it's definitely better than nothing. And good on Zarathur there for spreading out his economy units and, of course, winning command himself. A bit of a shame he didn't actually go to Boundless. Not exactly sure what he was thinking may happen. Perhaps he was afraid that Aun'shi would be showing up at that planet, but being able to deny your opponent of 2 cards and being able to remove the Ethereal Envoy from that planet and triggering a random card discard all would have been quite a bit better, I think, than just triggering Aatrox Prime. But regardless, looks like Yvvarn is going to be triggered, so Slaaneash's Temptation is going to be gone. Aun'shi triggers it. We see a Splintered Path Acolyte, a 1-cost, 1 command icon, 1 attack, 1 hit point cultist. For Zarathur, when you go to deploy a demon, you can sacrifice that unit to decrease its cost by 2, but it definitely looks like Aun'shi came out on the better end of that bargain. He got a copy of the Viorla Warrior Cadre, so a 4-cost, 1 command icon unit with a base 4 attack, 3 hit points, and provided that an Ethereal is present at the same planet as it, it's going to be able to attack with ranged. And even though it's going to be showing up exhausted during the first combat round, Aun'shi's got a few tricks that could help that to function. Like if we get an Aun'shi's Sanctum in play, the signature support for Aun'shi, if Aun'shi shows up at a planet, if the warrior cadre is dropped off, it's going to be able to have ranged. First of all, it's going to be attacking for 5 Armor Bane during ranged, and Aun'shi's Sanctum can ready a target unit at the same planet as an Ethereal, so a fantastic little combo there. But looks like we've seen some additional army units. We've got a copy of the Ethereal Envoy now at planet number 5, no Slaaneash's Temptation to bump its cost up to 2. We've got a copy of the 2-cost, 2 command icon, 1 attack, 1 hit point Vash'ya Trailblazer at planet planet number 4, that's going to be a mobile keyword unit, very difficult to pin down, and it's going to be opposite a copy of Chaos Fanatics, so that's going to be both players tied at that same planet. Planet number 5, our newest planet, after we pass through our HQ phase here, is going to be Karnath, that wildcard planet that allows you to trigger the battle ability of any other planet in play. That is going to be our players. Well, I guess Zarathur's thrown out another copy of Chaos Fanatics, and 2 command icons is going to just surpass the 1 command icon printed upon that Ethereal Envoy. Looks like we've got a copy of Tzeentch's Firestorm being played for just 1 resource against that Vashyah Trailblazer, and albeit at the cost of a card in a resource, if Zarathur manages to kill off that unit, that's potentially going to be 2 resources earned during the command phase for him. Planet number 1 is looking like it could go to either player, and that will be an interesting resolution there. So the Vashyah Trailblazer is dead. If Zarathur picks up planet number 1, he could also pick up planet number 3, and that would be the game for him through red material type icons. I suppose Zarathur could also pick up planet 2 and then 3, and then that would be that random card discard. It would be depriving his opponent of a couple of cards, but Zarathur's still got a hell of a lot of resources, and I definitely cannot say the same at all for Aun'shi. So the crappy thing about the Viorla Warrior Cadre is they've only got 3 hit points, and therefore they're rather susceptible to Tzeentch's Firestorm, to that Zarathur's Flamers, to the Rotten Plague Bearers. So if Aun'shi and Zarathur both show up at planet number 1, that could be the Flamers being discarded to kill. Like, we could say Aun'shi at the end of the first, like, okay, Zarathur and Aun'shi both show up at planet number 1. Aun'shi takes a swing because he's got initiative. Zarathur takes a couple points of damage. Then Aun'shi is going to be gone. Then the Viorla Warrior Cadre is going to be sitting there at that planet, but we could see the Rotten Plague Bearers and Zarathur's Flamers discarded to kill off that unit, and that would be another planet won by Zarathur. But things are heating up. Planet number 4, we see a second copy of the Vashyah Trailblazer, and planet number 2, we actually see a copy of one of our newest Orc faction units. It's going to be the 4-cost Frontline Ardboys, played out by Zarathur. So that's a 2-command icon unit, 2/5 warrior, and upon your opponent attempting to declare an attacker, they have to pick the Frontline Ardboys as the defender, so that's great in taking some of the heat off of Zarathur, especially in this Armorbane heavy context. So let's see what exactly we just end up seeing in regard to command phase commitments. At planet number 5, that recon drone is going to touch down. Zarathur I could see going to planet number 2 or planet number 1 or planet number 2. Aun'shi, I'm trying to think what the best destination for him might be. If Aun'shi arrives at planet 2, the Ethereal Envoy could attack for 2. Aun'shi himself could attack for 2. Then the Frontline Ardboys would be nearly killed. Then the Viorla Warrior Cadre could potentially deal a killing blow, because again, Aun'shi will have initiative, but I would imagine the Frontline Ardboys will retreat from that planet, and then the nice thing is whether they're exhausted, whether they're ready, they can still draw firepower away from Zarathur, so we might see that happen if Aun'shi is really wanting to preserve cards for himself. But if Aun'shi shows up at planet number 2, I guess we could even see an Infernal Gateway drop a unit to planet number 1, and then Zarathur would win that planet entirely uncontested, and Aun'shi would have to deal with Aatrox Prime firing at the Envoy, his Warlord, and the Viorla Warrior Cadre. So planet number 3 isn't really a desirable destination for either of our players. Planet 4 isn't going to be great, because wherever it is that Aun'shi goes, and I suppose to my not being surprised, he does arrive to planet number 1. Yeah, I was going to say planets 4 or 5 aren't desirable for Aun'shi, because if he were to drop off that copy of the Viorla Warrior Cadre, he's already behind in an economic sense, and you definitely don't want to turn some initial disadvantage into just a complete landslide victory for your opponent. So it's looking potentially like Aun'shi is going to be able to win planet number 1. Aatrox Prime is going to be able to deal a large amount of damage to all of those different Chaos units, but planet number 1 is going to be a card and a resource to the right for Aun'shi. Planet 2 is going to be a couple of cards to the left for Zarathur. Planet 3 is a resource for Aun'shi. Planet 4 is push. Neither player wins it. Planet number 5 is going to be a card and a resource to the right for Aun'shi. Looks like Aun'shi did end up winning at the first planet. That is going to be a blue and a red icon added to his victory display. It's going to be 1 point of damage to each and every one of those Chaos units, and I was thinking at planet number 1, Zarathur could have used an Infernal Gateway to throw out a Noise Marine Zealot and attack for I guess 4 against Aun'shi. He could have dealt some damage, but he wouldn't have been able to, you know, bloody that Warlord unless he would have had 2 of those effects. But it looks like we see the 1-cost event, Chaos Strike, being played. You can move any number of ethereal units you control to a target planet. That means planet number 2, Aun'shi is being moved to that planet, and I suppose this is just going to be okay, and we see another copy of the Ethereal Envoy. So I was going to say this is going to be a good opportunity for Aun'shi to deal quite a bit of damage out to his Chaos opposition here, despite the lack of those Xemian orbital cities, and it looks like he either had a copy of No Mercy or another Chaos Strike in hand. So what we could see here is, of course, Aun'shi's got initiative. Zarathur might be able to use actions like discarding his Zarathur's Flamers to kill that Ethereal Envoy, which at the moment is going to be able to attack for 2 Armor Bane, and it's just a bit of a damn shame that we don't have an Ethereal Wisdom to create, like to turn the Viorla Warrior Cadre into an Ethereal, so it could have been repositioned as well. But looks like that's going to be a 2 damage Tzeentch's Firestorm. That's a pretty risky play in a sense, like you're only, well, I guess you're dealing 3 points of damage because Zarathur's present at that planet, but we could see a 2 shield icon card discarded so that Ethereal Envoy could indeed attack for 2 Armor Bane, and I suppose, okay, so we see a 2 shield value card used. I think that's another copy of Chaos Strike being discarded, an enormously valuable event there for Aun'shi, but that is going to be a Tzeentch's Firestorm that does effectively nothing. Will we see that copy of Zarathur's Flamers discarded as a shield? Looks like the answer is no, and that is going to be 2 points of non-shieldable damage being dealt to the frontline Ardboys, and of course, as with any Ethereal, that means the Envoy is going to be removed from that planet. Now it's going to be up to the frontline Ardboys to attack. They're going to be doing so from modified 3 thanks to Zarathur. They're going to be attacking against an Ethereal Envoy that's a 2-attack Armor Bane unit, and it looks like we must not have had a shield card at all because now it's going to be Aun'shi's opportunity to attack. He himself is going to be able to kill the frontline Ardboys. No shielding possible, but now Aun'shi is going to bounce away from that planet, and that is going to be a random card discard. So what exactly are we going to see? Looks like it's going to be a call. Okay, that looked a hell of a lot like a copy of Chaos Strike discarded, and now without those orbital cities, Aun'shi's mobility is going to be rather limited indeed. So we've got a tech and a material icon for Aun'shi. We're going through our HQ phase at the top or bottom, whatever you want to call it, of round number 3 here. Our new 5th final planet of the game is going to be Iridial, the healing planet. Current planet under contest is going to be that forced random card discard planet Boundless, where we just fought at, and that is going to be the initiative squarely in the possession of Zarathur. So Zarathur, if he picks up planet number 1, if he picks up planet number 2, that's going to be a conquest victory through green strongpoint planets. It almost looks like that Zarathur's, that Tzeentch's Firestorm is deployed as a unit to planet number 2, but of course that is ridiculous, and there we go. Finally, that's going to be removed from play. When you're playing as Zarathur, it's pretty important that you keep your Tzeentch cards in order at the top of your deck, just because that's going to be very relevant to the Shrine of Warpflame, the signature support that bounces those back to your hand. We've got a copy of the Orc Allied Ammo Depot, 1-cost support. When you've got 3 or fewer cards in hand, you can exhaust it. It eats up a deploy action. You add a card to your hand from your deck, which is just fantastic. And it looks like at planet number 5, Aun'shi must have passed. He's got quite a few resources, but not a lot of cards to do anything with those resources. It's going to be a copy of Rogue Trader at 5, 1 cost, 1 command icon, no attack, 1 hit point. We've got another copy of Chaos Fanatics at planet number 4. That's going to be 4 command icons beating the Recon Drones too. And that's another 3rd copy of Promise of Glory, making 2 cultist tokens, which in turn, I guess, make a beautiful baby together in the hideously just malformed Zarathur's Flamers, now present upon planet number 1. So it's going to be a bit of a nightmare for Aun'shi to try to chew through these units at planet number 1. If he were to show up at that planet, those 2 Ethereals are going to be arriving exhausted. Perhaps Aun'shi is going to be setting himself up at planet number 2 to try to block off Zarathur's victory condition at that planet. But what we could see Zarathur do is Zarathur could just try to snipe command at planet 4, and then he's going to be able to rout an enemy unit. And if you can keep these units coming into play exhausted, then that's going to go all the way bad for Aun'shi. And just Aun'shi definitely needs more combat units out there on the battlefield. Planet number 1 is looking to go to Zarathur. I guess if Aun'shi arrives at that planet, he'll be able to kill. I guess, well, he could potentially kill one of those units, but the Plague Bearers could exhaust. The Flamers could be sacrificed prior to their being killed to just kill off some of those units. Looks like Zarathur is indeed going to go to planet number 3 like I was thinking. Aun'shi shows up at planet number 2 to wall off Zarathur's earliest possible victory condition. So planet number 1 is going to be a couple of cards for Zarathur. Planet 2 is going to be just a resource for Aun'shi. Planet 3 is going to be a couple of resources for Zarathur, and planet number 4 is going to be a card and a resource for Zarathur, and planet number 5 is going to be a card and a resource for Zarathur, and it's looking like Aun'shi is just getting absolutely slaughtered. His stock prices are just plummeting, and I can only hope that next time Aun'shi, should he survive this game, is going to be able to better diversify his investments. But Boundless is going to do yet another random card discard. I didn't quite catch what exactly it was that was discarded, but Aun'shi is quickly running out of cards in hand. I think he's only got one tool at his disposal. And we could easily see Zarathur. I guess, like, there's only one more green icon here anywhere on the board, but if Zarathur picks up our soon-to-be planet 2 and 3, then that could be the game for him. It looks like the Vashia Trailblazers sitting at 3 did not use mobile to relocate, which is a bit of a poor life choice, just because that Trailblazer is going to handily be murdered by Zarathur unless we don't have another Kauyon strike to move any of the ethereals to that same planet, and Zarathur would have the initiative regardless. So what exactly are we going to see? Aun'shi is going to have another opportunity to trigger Yvonne. He's got a lot of resources, but he doesn't have a whole hell of a lot of cards in hand, so I would imagine maybe he's got a unit? I don't know, but does it warrant triggering Yvonne? Maybe, maybe not, but it looks like the answer is going to be not so much. And then Zarathur, I guess, for routing a unit, it's difficult to discern what... Okay, yeah, I was going to say that seems strange that we didn't resolve a battle at that planet, but there we go. So I can only imagine it's going to be the Chaos Fanatics dealing out a killing blow to that Vashia Trailblazer, and then if it were me, I'd get that Viorla Warrior Cadre away from planet number 1, and then I would potentially be sending my train of units to planet number 1. So that is a very dead copy of Vashia Trailblazer. Chaos Fanatics swing from modified 2, and that will be Farron routing. Okay, that's going to be a copy of an ambush unit. That is the Ennui Prelate. It's an ethereal, it's a 4/3, no command icons. Each and every other Tau faction unit at that planet gets a +1 attack value bonus, which persists, I believe, until the end of the phase. It's going to take a swing at Zarathur for -1, thanks to the copy of an alternate art promotion being discarded, so Zarathur is not bloodied, but Zarathur is sitting at just 2 HP. But if Zarathur's sitting at a planet, you can sacrifice those flamers, you can do your firestorms, all kinds of different other effects, and that could just be a huge amount of outgoing damage regardless as to whether or not Zarathur has 1 hit point or 6. But we finally move into our HQ for potentially what could be the final round of the game. Aun'shi's HQ is just full of units. It's going to be a Prelate. It's going to be that Viorla Warrior Cadre, which indeed was routed courtesy of that planet Farron. Aun'shi picks up the initiative token. Okay, I was going to say, yeah, Aun'shi is going to need some serious firepower to stay in this game, and it looks as though that definitely did get delivered in the form of a Borkon recruits at planet number 1, so that's potentially going to be able to attack for 5 thanks to Aun'shi, but now Zarathur is going to have to fill the board with combat units as much as is possible. So at planet number 1, he's got a Rotten Plague Bears. It's going to be able to use its action to deal 2 damage thanks to Zarathur. Those Zarathur's Flamers are going to be able to be discarded to deal 3 points of damage, and those could easily be dead copies of Borkon recruits, dead warrior cadres, a lot of different effects there, and of course Zarathur is going to be able to reel in far more cards, my heart is telling me, than will Aun'shi. But at planet number 3, we've got a copy of Void Pirate, 1 cost, 1 command icon, 0 attack, 1 hit point, +1 card bonus. We've got a copy of Promotion on that recon drone, but that is going to be absolutely insufficient. Aun'shi is going to have to show up to planet number 1, and that means it's looking like Zarathur is going to pull in a whole hell of a lot of income. He was able to use Ammo Depot in order to add another card to his hand, and each and every time that Aun'shi attacks with one of his units, that's going to be one fewer ethereal sitting at that planet. And if we see those flamers used to kill off the recruits, the Earthcast Technician, which was just played to planet number 1, things could just be looking absolutely horrific there for Aun'shi. And even if he were able to load up a unit with gun drones, that does not prevent it from being destroyed by just such a ridiculous volume of direct damage. So to no one's surprise, both of our players send their warlords to planet number 1. That's going to be two command icons relative to 2 command icons, so nobody's going to win at planet number 1, but it's only 1 resource on the line anyways, so it scarcely matters. Planet number 2 is going to be a couple of resources to the right there for Aun'shi, to the left for Zarathur. What am I thinking? Planet number 3, where resides 5 command icons, that's going to be 2 cards and a resource for Zarathur, and planet number 4 is going to be a resource and a card for Zarathur as well. So this is looking like it's probably going to be the end game here. We've got I guess a ready copy of Ethereal Envoy. I must have somehow missed that one. So that means planet number 1 is going to be a resource to the right for Aun'shi, but the initiative token is going to be in Aun'shi's possession, but it may as well be during the command phase. Doesn't matter at all. That's going to be a copy of Rotten Plague. Oh god, that's going to be a dead Borkon recruits. That is not a good sign, Aun'shi. That is a 5-attack Armorbane unit outright destroyed. That's going to be a copy of Zarathur's Flamers discarded. That is going to be a dead 2-attack Ethereal Envoy. Now it's only going to be a 2-attack Armorbane Earthcast Technician left. That's going to be another sacrifice copy of Zarathur's Flamers. That's going to be a dead 5-attack Armorbane Ennui Prelate. Ouch, that about hurts. That is going to be a copy of Warp Storm played at this planet, and I can only imagine that is going to result in the bloodying of Zarathur there, but that's going to be 3 points of damage to the Viorla Warrior Cadre. It's going to be a dead Ethereal Envoy. No, looks like that's going to be a copy of Slaaneish's Temptation discarded to shield Zarathur. It's going to be something else discarded to shield that Snakebite Thug. It's going to be a dead Chaos faction unit there we saw disappear into a mist of giblets, and looks like the Snakebite Thug is going to be entirely hail as well. So 2 cost, a command icon, 3 attack, 4 hit points. It attacks for 4 thanks to the presence of Zarathur. And what exactly are we going to see from Aun'shi? Let me spell it out for you, dear viewers. This is going to be the good game right here, because the best Aun'shi... Okay, I guess I was maybe ever so slightly wrong. That's going to be an Ennui Prelate, and that is going to be able to attack for 5 Armorbane. What is it going to kill? It may as well be that copy of Snakebite Thug, because yes, there we go. So that is Snakebite Thug destroyed. Now the Ennui Prelate is going to be removed from that planet. Zarathur is going to take a swing at Aun'shi. That's going to be 2 points of damage onto Aun'shi, and now Aun'shi is going to attack, and this is what I was going to say before. That is going to be a bloodied Zarathur, but what happens? That's going to be Aun'shi gone. Forced reaction triggers. That Ethereal is removed from the planet, and despite that bloodied Zarathur, it does not matter. That's going to be the end of a combat round. It's going to be Aun'shi not being able to use Ximian Orbital City or Kaoyan Strike or any number of other effects to dump a unit back on that planet. That is going to be a combat turn that the Rotten Plague Bearers can do, and that, of course, is going to be the planet won by Zarathur. So that was a hell of a game, but congratulations to Kevin Guertin managing to pilot Zarathur High Sorcerer against the Armorbane-focused Tau Warlord Aun'shi. So very well played game by Brett Gosling, but in the end, he just could not survive the economic onslaught that Zarathur brought to bear against him. But my dear viewers, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, hit that like button, subscribe to this channel if you've not done so already, share this content so more people are exposed to Conquest LCG. If you'd like to get in touch with me, I would definitely encourage you to do so on any form of social media, like my Facebook page. Help me to turn it into the community hub that I someday hope it will become. Follow me on Twitter. If you feel inclined to help support my Hive Tyrant endeavor, consider contributing $1 a month to my Patreon account just to help me recover some of my file hosting and operating expenses. But as always, thank you so much for watching. A tremendous thanks to Proper Sir, friend of the channel, John Gobeil, for providing me with this footage, and I hope you enjoyed this one. So thank you for watching, and once again, be sure to check back in again soon for much more Conquest LCG content to come.